Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Sri Ramakrishna is telling that God has created in the creation all sorts of things are there. He has created bad men as well as good men. Whenever one becomes two, one part will be positive, one part will be negative. The two again join together to become again the neutral zero, the absolute. It is He who gives us good tendencies, and it is He who again gives us evil tendencies. He as a law. Otherwise, God's participation in the universe is, everything is through law, and that law is called rhythm. If you start running, simple law of inertia, a thing will continue to remain in a place unless it is made to move another force. It's a law. Every object follows it. So, going on doing repeatedly any action, you get momentum. It's a law. God has made this law, and God is making that law function also, pervading the universe with rhythm. So ultimately, God is doer. But in and through, everything goes in and through the law. Final authority through which the whole system is working, the whole universe is working, is God's order. But everything, at every level, there is a power to maintain it, a power to control it, a power to regulate it, and keep the movement on and on, perennial movements. Now, anything happening in the country, final authority signing, whole head of the government, Prime Minister in our country, Prime Minister or President of India, is the final thing under him the whole government is functioning. It is with his order. And he can bar the verdict of death even given by Supreme Court. He can say, yes, excused. That much authority he has got. And the whole government is working under him. But if I ask whether my road is proper or not, he doesn't know. He doesn't even know whether a person has done road or not, whether road exists there or not. Because the whole thing is governed by the law, he is maintaining only law. Each person, you have to follow, you have to do that, you have to do that, you have to do that. It is your discretion, it is your power. He is authorizing each level. So final, without his signature, nothing will work. So he is the final authority, under him the whole system is working, yet he doesn't interfere in anything because it's working as a law. Unless some call is there, he will not interfere into anything. Whether a person is arrested or not, whether a person is thieving or not, nothing. He will not interfere. There are people to look out. There are people to look out. So, when you request, pray to God, then alone God's attention will come to you. Otherwise, you are under God through law, not individually. Finally, it goes up to the Lord. If nothing control comes, and also whatever you have to ask for from the government, you can't go and ask even the president unless it is refused by all. Nobody is helping you. Finally, you can go. Everywhere there is a failure, then you will go. Always there is a gap between through the law. Now, suppose prayer also, if it is done with heart, building up direct relationship with God, then only your prayers will be received by God. Otherwise, your prayers will end with nature. Nature will be answering, replying. Now, to Prime Minister, if you write a letter, it will never reach Prime Minister. There are other people who receive it on his behalf. They are authorized. Vice President will be there, other people will be there. Finally, his own secretary will be there. He will first open and read your letter. You put private and confidential. He will not, Prime Minister or President will not open it. His secretary or his assistant alone will open it. Open it, and everything is totally, he has the authority and given by the Prime Minister. You can answer. If it is something serious, only you come to me. He has every knowledge and authority. Your letter he will directly answer and send you back answer. And if there is a problem, social problem, then you write in our, some things are happening like this, some communal problem or something is happening, then secretary alone will open, go to the Prime Minister and report him. Such a letter has come, what should I do? Then Prime Minister will tell, write this answer. He will write the answer. Tell him such and such things. They will take care. Go to such person. It will be returned. There also letter will not reach there they will ask, because it is not personal letter. He is not asking, somebody is not asking for his sake, he is asking for a society. And there is higher. So he goes to the President or Prime Minister and takes his consent and writes, because he has no that much authority to work on a society. Individual, all letters he will write. Suppose a letter comes from the son, Prime Minister's son, secretary will never open. he will go and keep on the table and salute and come away. Why? He is also one of the citizens. I am also one of citizens. Why did he keep that letter? Why not my letter? Because there is relationship. Because of the relationship, he is his son. He may be Prime Minister, but the letter has come from his son. Relation is there. So, secretary will not even open. He will not open. Everybody's letter he will open. Prime Minister's son's letter he will go and keep. No private and confidential is written on that, nothing. The moment same thing happens between we and God. In between there is nature. Whatever you pray, whatever you do, nature will be directly answering. It will not be reported to the God also. God will be in His own glory. And then, if you are praying for someone else, then it will be, nature will ask God and give the reply, what she has to do. You see the difference. Suppose you have developed such a love and relationship with God, you feel God is your own. And then the prayers are done, hearty prayers to God. Nature will slide away. Your prayers will directly reach to God. Until this relationship with God is established and bond of love is there, our prayers will be till then answered by the nature. Law takes care. Law takes care. Nature means it's a law. So, neighbor, in that case we are not responsible for sinful actions, are we? Sin begets its own results. This is God's law. Won't you burn your tongue if you chew chili? One may not realize this in youth. I have looked into the hearth in the kitchen of Kali temple when logs are being burnt. At first, wet wood burns rather well. It does not seem then it contains much moisture, but when the wood is sufficiently burnt, all the moisture runs back to one end, and last water squirts out from the fuel and puts out the fire. Big logs, it will not be fully dried, they will put for firewood, wood for fire, for cooking. When you put it will be burning from front, slowly water will be sliding from behind, it will be dripping little by little. You people might have seen, you might not have seen also, no gas days. And we have seen. Little wetness also, the water sliding back. And then finally when big logs are there burning, then slowly water starts flowing out and it will put off the fire to that extent. At first, wet wood. So, one should be careful about anger, passion and greed. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Take, for instance, the case of Hanuman. In a fit of anger, he burnt Ceylon. At last he remembered that Sita was living in Ashoka Grove. Then he began to tremble lest the fire should injure her. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. In Bhagavad Gita also he refers to these three. Narakasya dwaram. Kama, Krodha and Lobha are Naraka dwara. And if you don't if you don't cross over it, if you don't get rid of it, it will bring peril to you. One must be careful about anger, passion and greed. Once some people go to Holy Mother, some person, a devotee, and the devotee will be telling, why did God give these things? How much we struggle to overcome it, lust, greed and all. Somehow or other it will be catching us. Mother says, each one, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, everything has a purpose. And every individual needs this, nature needs it. Kama is necessary to the extent to bring up the progeny. If it is misused for enjoyment, then it becomes a poison. So, everything, Mother says, to that extent, anger is necessary, to that extent the work goes on smoothly. Anger that is going to harm others or harm you will not do any good. It will bring. Greed is necessary to the extent today my food is, all family is taking food properly, maximum having a family life, a few days for emergencies that come in future you may need. Keep a little money for tomorrow also. Doesn't matter. It is not called greed. When things, whatever you get, still you want more, you want more, you want more. Ishtu dorakidare innashtarase. If that becomes the problem, Holy Mother beautifully says these words. Everything has a purpose, nature has kept, man has to be careful. Fire has a purpose and has limitations. It has to be in chula only. If you keep it in the bedroom, there it has purpose, fire has purpose, but if it is misused, it will become terrible. So, anything within the limits to serve the purpose for which nature has kept it is always welcome. It is needed. Beyond that, Sri Ramakrishna tells the story of snake. I asked you not to bite, but you could have hissed, you could have shown anger. If you show anger to anybody, you will immediately become silent. Even a child, just to open eyes, weeping child will suddenly stop. So, that kind of little showing anger is necessary. Then, to that extent, the work must go on. The purpose is served. Now, if it is misused, it is more used, then it becomes real greed. Need is crossed. At last, neighbor, why has God created wicked people? One more question. Why does man have sinful tendencies? First he asks. Then now he is asking. Second he is telling, in that case we are not responsible for our sinful actions. Now he is asking, why has God created wicked people? Master, that is his will, his play. See, Sri Ramakrishna's way of solving the problems is so simple. He brings everything into. Otherwise, this mind will go on asking questions, and it never comes to rest. You have to simply love God. And there was one person, everybody in the house were alert of him. They considered him as mad. Means he is crazy, rather, not perfectly mad. His habit is, wherever he gets a paper, he will go on tearing, sit and tearing into small pieces and keep somewhere and go away. Any paper. Note is there, magician's notes. If he gets a note, then he will not know he is tearing it. Slowly he will tear small pieces, he will leave and go wherever he is sitting. Newspaper. He doesn't know yet, bring back the newspaper again in the same condition. So he will go on tearing it. What happens is, when documents are there, important documents, those things he used to tear and keep, only leave. They take him to so many psychiatrists, these, that people, they will inquire, they will give some medicines, they will give some suggestions, counseling, everything. Years passed, nobody could solve. One day he went to a sadhu. He used to usually go, he went and started weeping before him. He said, "What happened? My important document of my property, my son has torn into pieces. No, very difficult to get that. I don't even have a copy. I cannot paste it also. So small pieces he has made and kept. I don't know what to do. I have shown to hundreds of people, psychiatrists and psychologists. Nothing has been able to do." He said, "Call him. You bring him once. I will see." Then next time father brings that boy. He will be a grown-up boy. Not as much as me. Not 70 years. 30, 35. Father takes him to that sadhu. Sadhu will be just talking nicely to all people, this, that and all. Then he doesn't talk to that boy anything about these things. Why you are doing, what is your problem, nothing. He will be giving him some sweets, fruits, this, that and all. He will be inquiring something else, normal talkings and all. Then father is becoming restless. He is not telling anything to my son. He is not telling anything to me. Then time is over. He gives prasad, chocolates 4 and sends them. When this boy is going a little away, hey, 1 minute, you come here. That boy comes. Father is there only. In his ear he tells something and sends him away. Go. He pats on his back and goes. From that day he has completely left that tearing. He never tears. Father will get so much. What might have been he has done? He might have told some mantra, something which will not work. Then after a few days he sees, 1 month he sees, the habit has completely gone away. Then the father will get curious. He will go to the sadhu and ask, "What did you do? Tell." "No, I did not do anything. I just told him not to tear paper." This one simple instruction nobody has given him till now. Every house, everybody has scolded him for doing that. "Hey, don't tear, my child. Don't tear paper." Nobody has told, including psychiatrists and psychologists. They started digging his unconscious and all. Why is he doing? But it's simple. Don't tear paper. Sri Ramakrishna's instructions are like that. So simple. It will start working. And we don't know. It looks like no philosophy, nothing. But it contains all things. Highest psychology, that one. Just calling and telling, don't tear the paper. What a wonderful thing you see. So, that is His will. Why God has created wicked people? That is His will, His play, divine play. In His Maya, there exists avidya as well as vidya. Darkness is needed too. It reveals all the more the glory of light. Contrasts. There is no doubt that anger, lust, and greed are evils. Why then has God created them? In order to create saints, people who have crossed over it. Saints, they are not affected. Kama, Krodha, everything is there, they are not affected. Nothing, no reflections in body, no reflections in heart. How did it happen in saints? Holding on to God, holding on to reality, knowing the unreality, knowing their causes of suffering, applying intelligence, applying viveka, cultivating love of God. They saw these things are taking them away from God. They are not really any kind of enjoyment of this world, be it eating or any enjoyment, or sleeping or anything. Whatever enjoyment you have, it will never give you satisfaction. It will never give you fulfillment. It will never give you peace. It will take away your peace. It will take away your bliss. That's why we use the term pleasure, sense pleasures. Any sense pleasure, anything you enjoy of this world, without seeing God in it, it becomes only when you try to, first thing you experience peace is when you start becoming loving nature and trying to be one with nature. Once you try to be one with nature, peace, tranquility is you are becoming one with nature. When you sing a song, you are trying to become one with nature. Your mind is expanding to become, slowly as you are singing the song, it is becoming expanding and becoming. So you feel great peace. Later on, holding on to this peace, in standing in this peace, inner peace, you search for God. Otherwise, searching for God is not possible. When mind is not tranquil, it is not attaining tranquility, how will you think of God? How will you search for God? Agitated mind, always restless mind, cannot search for anything, for God. So, while searching for God, it must be tranquil, it must be peaceful. So, stillness, inner peace comes by tuning yourself with nature. Then the search for the divine becomes possible. You can. Otherwise, you can't unless you become, without some amount of inner peace, some amount of settlement. It is constantly agitating. Even a single problem is there, you can't feel the presence of God also. So, the whole effort is to become slowly. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.